You're smiling, but inside, you're breaking. Someone just said something that hurt you, and you answered, "It's okay, it's nothing." Lie. It was everything. But you learned early that showing pain pushes people away, so you keep it in, swallow it, hide it. You're about 9 years old. Someone you love is yelling, or worse, they're in cold silence, and you feel, if I'm good enough, this will stop. But it never stops, because the problem was never you. Still, you carry this impossible mission to this day. Be perfect so you won't be left. You know this feeling, don't you? Reading someone's mood before even hearing their voice, anticipating what the other needs before they ask, erasing parts of yourself to fit what they expect. You think this is love, but true love doesn't require you to disappear. This is survival. It's fear dressed as care. You do everything to avoid rejection. But do you see the cruel paradox? The more you try to make sure no one abandons you, the lonelier you become. Why are the things you do to protect yourself exactly what isolates you? What you feel has a name. Carl Jung would call it the survival mask. You built a persona, a false self that learned to please, to calm, to anticipate. And the more you wear this mask, the more you forget who's underneath it. Jung discovered something disturbing about the human mind. As a child, you quickly learn what's accepted and what's rejected. If crying brings abandonment, you stop crying. If asking for attention causes irritation, you stop asking. If being yourself creates conflict, you stop being yourself. And the persona is born. The edited version of you. The one who smiles when she should scream. The one who says yes when she means no. The one who carries others' emotional weight so she won't be left alone. The one who slowly disappears just to stay present. But here's the problem. Everything you repressed, the anger, the sadness, the needs, the authenticity, doesn't disappear. Jung called this the shadow. It's everything you swept under the emotional rug because you were afraid of being rejected for it. And the shadow grows in the dark. It becomes anxiety. It becomes insomnia. It becomes that feeling of emptiness, even surrounded by people. It becomes relationships where you're present, but not really there. You attract people who never truly know you, because you never truly show yourself. They love the persona, the version that pleases, doesn't bother, always understands. But who loves you? The painful truth is this: you're afraid of being rejected. So you reject yourself first. You hide, edit, perform. And in the end, you're alone, even surrounded by people, because no one there knows who you really are. Jung said, loneliness does not come from having no people around. It comes from being unable to communicate the things that seem important, or from holding certain views that others find inadmissible. And that's exactly what you're living. You're surrounded, but completely isolated. It's not your fault. You didn't choose to be afraid. You learned that love was conditional, that acceptance had a price, that belonging meant not causing trouble. But now you understand. This isn't craziness. This isn't weakness. It's a deep psychological pattern that formed when you were still too small to defend yourself. And patterns can be undone. Masks can be removed. But first, you need to see what's happening. And that's what we're doing now. Now comes the part that hurts, but also sets you free. You need to see the pattern, the cycle that repeats without you noticing. Think about your recent relationships, friendships, dating, even co-workers. How many times were you the person who always understood? The one who always gave in? The one who was always available, even exhausted? The one who apologized for things you didn't do? This isn't coincidence. It's unconscious repetition. Jung explained that the unconscious works like an emotional autopilot. It always takes you to the same places, with different people, but identical dynamics. You meet someone new. At first, it seems different, promising, light, safe, but gradually, you feel that familiar sensation in your chest, the anxiety of not being enough, the fear of bothering them, the urgency to prove your worth, and without realizing it, you're doing it again, erasing your needs, prioritizing the other's mood, saying, it's fine, when it's not fine, carrying more than you should carry. And the person on the other side sometimes doesn't even notice what you're doing, sometimes notices and takes advantage because you taught them it's safe to ignore you, that you'll always be there, no matter how much they hurt you. Jung said that until you make the unconscious conscious, It will direct your life and you will call it fate. And that's exactly what happens. You think you're unlucky in love, that you always choose wrong, that people are all the same. But the truth is different. You don't choose wrong. You choose the familiar. You choose dynamics that recreate the original wound, that pain from back then that was never healed. Because deep down, unconsciously, you're still trying to fix the past, trying to prove to that child inside you that this time, if she's good enough, she won't be abandoned. But it never works, because you're solving the wrong problem with the wrong people. Look back, not just at recent months. Go back years. You'll see the same pattern in different faces. Always you giving more. Always you adapting. Always you swallowing words, feelings, boundaries. Always you alone in the end, even though you did everything right. This didn't start now. It started when you learned that to be loved, you needed to be convenient. When you learned that your feelings were too much, heavy, inconvenient. When you learned that asking was risking loss. And since then, you've lived like this, trapped in an invisible cycle, attracting emotionally unavailable people. Because deep down, you're also emotionally unavailable to yourself. The persona you created to be accepted became a prison. And now, you don't even know who you are without it. You define yourself by what you do for others, by how much you endure, by how much you sacrifice. But here's the truth Jung discovered. As long as you don't integrate the shadow, everything you repressed, you'll keep repeating. You'll keep attracting mirrors of your unhealed wound. You'll keep being alone, even when accompanied, because true relationships require real presence. And you're so busy being who the other needs that you forgot to be who you are. If you're feeling a tightness in your chest right now, it's because something here touched deep. You're not alone in this. Thousands of people are living exactly what you're living, trapped in the same cycle, repeating the same pain. This channel exists to help you understand what's happening inside you, so you can stop blaming yourself and start truly healing. Click the button right now and subscribe, because every video here is a piece of your soul's puzzle that you need to put together. Don't let this message pass. It reached you for a reason. Now you need to see the real cost of all this, the price you pay for living with the mask, because it's not just loneliness, it's something much deeper and more destructive. First comes exhaustion, not the physical kind, though that shows up too, but that exhaustion of the soul, of pretending everything's fine when it's not, of smiling when you want to scream, of carrying everyone's emotional weight, except your own. You wake up tired, even after sleeping, because your body rested, but your mind never stops. It stays there, reviewing conversations, analyzing tones of voice, looking for signs of rejection. Then comes the emptiness, that hole in your chest that nothing fills. Not more people, not more effort. You can be in a room full of sacrifice, laughing, talking, present, but inside, there's a deafening silence, a feeling that no one there really sees you. And it's true, because you don't let yourself be seen. You're so busy reading others, anticipating needs, avoiding conflicts, that you forgot what it's like to just be you. Then comes self-abandonment. You abandoned yourself so long ago, you don't even notice anymore. Your desires took a back seat. Your boundaries became suggestions you ignore yourself. Your needs, well, you learned they don't matter that much. When was the last time you did something just because you wanted to, without thinking if it would please someone, without calculating if it would push people away or bring them closer, without measuring the emotional consequences? Loneliness becomes identity. You start believing you were made for this, that your role in life is to care, understand, endure, that you exist for others, not for yourself. And here lies the greater danger. You stop believing you deserve more. You stop imagining someone could love you without you having to empty yourself. You stop dreaming of connections where you can be real, imperfect, vulnerable. Jung called this persona inflation. When the mask becomes so strong you can't take it off anymore. You completely identify with the role you play and forget there's a real person underneath it all. But here's the part that cuts deepest. You know this isn't working. You feel it. You see the same results repeating, the same pain returning with different faces, and still, you continue. Because stopping means facing the fear that's haunted you since childhood. The fear that if you take off the mask, show yourself as you really are, No one will stay, so you prefer the familiar loneliness, the one that comes with people around, the one that hurts, but at least it's familiar, rather than risk the unknown loneliness of being alone with yourself and discovering who you are without others' approval. This is where it hurts, but this is also where it gets clearer, because now you know, you see the pattern, you understand the cost, you recognize the trap, and recognizing is the first step to getting out of it. Now comes the part you've been waiting for, the way out, the path back to yourself. But first, you need to understand something fundamental. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small daily choices, in micro acts of courage that seem insignificant but rebuild your life from the inside out. And the first choice begins now. The first healing action is this: learn to name what you feel before adjusting what you do. It sounds simple, but for you who spent your whole life reading others and ignoring yourself, this is revolutionary. When someone hurts you, stop. Before smiling and saying, "It's fine," stop and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Anger, sadness, disappointment, fear? Say it out loud, even if just to yourself. I'm feeling anger because this hurt me. Naming the feeling takes you off autopilot and puts you back in control of your own life. Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you feel heals." When you name the emotion, you stop repressing it. You stop throwing it into the shadow. You give voice to that part of you that was silenced for so long. And something interesting happens. The emotion loses the destructive power it had when hidden. It becomes information. It tells you what you need, what's wrong, where your boundaries were violated. And you can finally act with awareness, not by conditioned reflex. Practice this every day. When you feel that tightness in your chest, stop. When you want to automatically please someone who hurt you, stop. When you're about to say sorry for something that's not your responsibility, stop and ask, what am I really feeling? This will feel strange at first. It will even feel selfish. But it's not. It's you finding yourself again after years lost in other people's lives. The second healing action is this: set one small boundary per day. It doesn't have to be a dramatic boundary. It doesn't have to be a confrontation. It can be something as simple as saying, "I can't right now," when someone asks for something and you're exhausted. It can be not answering a message immediately just because the person expects it. It can be choosing what you want to eat without asking, "What do you prefer?" First, small boundaries train your mind that you matter, that your needs have weight, that you don't have to disappear to belong. Behavioral psychology shows that new patterns form through repetition, not intensity. You don't need a big transformation. You need small, consistent choices. One boundary per day, one emotion named per day, one time you choose yourself, even if just for 5 minutes. These micro-acts accumulate, and in 6 months, you look back and realize you're not the same person anymore. Here's the truth that psychology proved and Jung confirmed. You don't change who you are. You reveal who you always were, the authentic person with boundaries, with voice, with valid needs. She was always there. She was just hidden behind the mask. And now, act by act, choice by choice, you're removing the mask. You're coming home to yourself. It won't be easy. Some people will find it strange. They'll say you've changed. They'll miss the version of you that always gave in, always understood, always carried the weight alone. And you'll feel fear of losing them. But here's the question that will set you free. Are you really afraid of losing these people? Or afraid of discovering you never really had them? Because those who truly love you won't leave when you start to exist. Hey, if you got distracted, come back here with me right now and pay attention to this, because this is the most important part of everything I'm going to tell you. Until now, we talked about psychology, about patterns, masks, wounds. But there's a deeper layer than all of this, a truth that science alone can't reach. And it's this: God was never absent from your story, even when you felt completely alone. He was there, waiting for the exact moment when you'd stop trying to control everything and finally look to Him. You thought you were protecting yourself, building walls, wearing masks, controlling every word and gesture to avoid rejection. But in reality, you were imprisoning yourself. God never asked you to make yourself small to fit into others. He created you whole, complete, valuable, not for what you do, but for who you are. And all he wants now is for you to let go of control and trust him. There's a passage in Scripture that speaks directly to you now. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." Do you see what this means? It means you don't need all the answers. You don't need to anticipate all the risks. You don't need to guarantee you'll never be hurt again. You just need to trust. Trusting doesn't mean being naive. It doesn't mean accepting any treatment or returning to destructive patterns. Trusting God means surrendering to him what you can't control: others, hearts, the future, the outcomes. It means stopping calculating every move out of fear and starting to live with the certainty that he's guiding your steps, even when the path seems dark. And there's more. 2 Timothy 1:7 declares, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Read that again. God didn't give you fear. He gave you power. Power to set boundaries. Power to say no. Power to exist without apologizing. The fear that paralyzes you, that didn't come from him. That came from wounds, from lies you believed, from the child inside you who still thinks she needs to erase herself to be loved. But God is calling you to something greater. He's calling you to leave the prison you built yourself, to remove the mask and trust that he'll sustain you when you're real, to believe that he won't reject you when you show who you really are, because he already knows you. He knows every wound, every tear, every sleepless night, and still, he loves you, completely, without conditions. You spent years trying to earn love through effort, but God's love doesn't work that way. It's not something you achieve by being perfect, understanding, convenient. It's given, freely, without merit, without performance. And when you finally understand this, when you feel this deep in your chest, something inside you breaks, not from pain, but from relief. Because for the first time in your life, you can stop fighting. You can rest. You can just be you. Here's the spiritual truth that will change everything. God didn't allow you to feel so alone to punish you. He allowed it to awaken you, to show you that no person, no matter how good, can fill the emptiness only he fills. To teach you that as long as you seek validation in others, you'll never find peace. But when you seek it in him, when you surrender control, stop trying to guarantee human love and rest in divine love, then you're free. Free to be who he always dreamed you'd be. Free to love without losing yourself. Free to live without fear. You made it here, and that already says a lot about you. It says you're tired of living the way you were living. It says there's a force inside you greater than fear. It says you're ready to choose yourself, even if it hurts at first. And that choice, it changes everything. The loneliness you felt for so long doesn't disappear overnight, but it transforms. It stops being a sentence and becomes sacred space, a place where you can finally meet yourself without masks, without performances, without the need to please. And in that silence, something miraculous happens. You discover you were never truly alone. God was always there, waiting for you to stop running and simply rest in him. Jung and Christian faith converge at a profound point: integration. Jung called it integrating the shadow, bringing to light everything that was repressed. The Bible calls it renewal of the mind, letting the old self die and being reborn. Both speak of the same thing. You can't remain fragmented. You can't live divided between who you are and who you pretend to be. Real healing happens when you put the pieces together, when you accept your humanity, your limits, your needs, and surrender it all to God. You'll look back one day and realize the people who rejected you, they freed you. The pain you tried to avoid for so long, it taught you. The loneliness you carried like a curse, it was the path God used to bring you back to him. And now you understand. It wasn't punishment, it was redirection. God didn't remove people from your life to hurt you. He removed you from places where you were losing yourself. And now you live differently. Not because you became perfect, but because you became real. You set boundaries without guilt. You feel your emotions without repressing them. You choose people who love you for who you are, not for what you do for them. And when loneliness knocks on your door occasionally, you don't panic. You take a deep breath, look to God and say, "I trust you." The mask fell. and you discovered something revolutionary. You're more lovable without it, more interesting, more alive, more connected, because true connection only happens when two real people meet, not two personas performing a theater of mutual approval. And for the first time, you're available for that, available to love and be loved truly, without fear, without control, just presence. You didn't change your destiny by becoming someone else. You changed because you returned to who you always were, the girl God created before you learned you needed to hide, before you built walls, before you believed love was something you had to deserve. She was there all along, just waiting for you to have the courage to let her breathe. And now she breathes. She exists. She loves. She sets boundaries. She trusts God. She lives. And you realize, with tears in your eyes and a true smile on your face, you're finally free. Free from the prison you built. Free from the fear that governed you. Free to be exactly who God always dreamed you'd be. And that freedom, no one will ever take it from you again. If this message made sense to you, if it touched something deep you didn't even know you were holding, then you need to subscribe to our channel right now. Because this video is just the beginning of a journey of healing, self-knowledge and faith that can completely change your life. Every video here is made for you to understand your pain, heal your patterns, and find the purpose God has for you. Don't let this transformation pass. Click the subscribe button right now and come walk with us. For you who made it to the end of this video, I want you to do something. Leave a comment right now saying, "I trust God." It doesn't matter if you don't fully feel it yet. Declare it anyway, because God honors faith that's declared, not faith that stays hidden. And I believe that by writing these words, something will move in the spiritual realm in your favor. God will show you, in the coming days, that He's working in your life in ways you can't even imagine. Right now, I trust God.